African Brand Congress honor key players and brands in Nigeria. Muka Foam Limited, Roller Vision Engineering Limited, Probitas Limited made the list. Find out what went down at the event and comments from the awardees and the players. The Nigerian agri sector continues the growth trajectory with more firms coming up with innovation. Healthcare Nigeria Limited offerings is in focus. And on our focus segment today, engineer Dr. Samson Okpalowa speaks on the growth strategy for not only the engineering sector but also the Nigerian economy, plus other interesting issues on business, finance and the economy. This is Inside Business Africa, Africa's business news and information leader. Hello, a very good day to you and thanks for joining us. My name is Kenneth Odushola Stevenson and this is Inside Business Africa, Africa's business news and information leader. We seem to be having a very loaded program for today because we'll be talking from engineering to brands and also to agriculture. When we come back right after this commercial break, we'll be talking about the African brand event that took place in Lagos recently, where the likes of Muka Foam Limited and also Roller Vision Engineering came away with a very awesome award indeed, and for their contributions to the nation's economy and their various sectors. We'll talk about that when we come back right after this commercial break. Welcome back. You're still Inside Business Africa, Africa's business news and information leader. Well, let's go straight away to the menu for today. The first one is about the African Brand Congress that took place recently in Lagos, where many organizations were recorded for positioning their brands for growth and delivering value to customers and their shareholders. Muka Foam Limited and Roller Vision Engineering and Probitas made the list, along with many other organizations that are making it possible for Nigeria to record economical growth and also respect from the international community. Here's our report from that event. Africa Best Brand Award, which was held recently in Lagos and organized by the African Brand Journal, is an annual fiesta where best brands and the best opportunities behind the most successful and sought after brands in Africa come together to educate and inspire brand managers.
At the end of the Cold War, most of the African continent has made tremendous progress in the area of law and order, development, and governance.
The African Brand Journal in this edition focuses on best brands in Africa with special interest in celebrating excellence in the brands that makes Africa great through the African Brand Leadership Merit Award.
Please, this is also to be seen as an encouragement for you to continue the good work.
Amongst many organizations and the companies that received the awards are Roller Vision Engineering Limited, Muka Foam Nigeria Limited, Probitas Limited, the sister company of Mama's Farms. The chief executive officer and some key representatives and executives of the awarding companies speak with Inside Business Africa about the award and the company which they represent.
Naturally, we feel honored and with a tremendous sense of pride to be recognized as a leading brand in Nigeria. We know that Nigerian consumers love brands, they embrace brands. Happy to receive the awards from the African Brands Congress, really in recognition of the strong Muka brand.
The award is something that we hold in high esteem, and this is because since Muka's inception, we are focused on ensuring that we manufacture high quality products that Nigerians all over love, And from researches that we have done, we have been able to find our consumer researches that we've done. We found out that consumers love Muka brands. They believe that our brands are high quality. They believe that our brands give them the kind of quality sleep that they want.
Normal human beings were so happy, so excited in having the award. so much such that as soon as we got the award, we made took photograph of the award and send it to our partners. Yes. Because they also contributed a lot to our getting the award. So they should also see what.
I feel very, very happy. When I heard of this award, I think I know we worth it. With what we have done right from the invent of this company. We've done a lot. We've contributed a lot to the growth of this country, Nigeria. So that's why this award, it comes at the right time. We feel very, very happy.
It is, I will try to rephrase the question, how do we? Yes, because it's not about me alone. It's a collective effort by every one of us. And because without them, we wouldn't have been so recognized. We feel very happy, and we saw it as a challenge to do more and to do better. And well, to see all our plans through. And I think that is a very, it's like a push for us.
Furthermore, the brands, according to awardees, are probably inspired by the impacts they are making in the market and the Nigerian economy.
To an extent that we are one of their major partners, not just in Nigeria alone. Some in the entire African continent, some in the West African sub-region.
Yeah, at the Agricultural Center, I can see a lot of passion by Nigerians trying to see it as an alternative to addressing the issue of mono economy that we are possibly running now in terms of the over-reliance on oil and gas for our foreign exchange earnings. And the issue is that every Nigerian depends on government for foreign exchange. But, well, I think Agric has provided a window of opportunity.
Next, the big area of focus and investment now is in our new product development pipeline. The team have been working hard, and they've developed a new range of products that we will start to roll out later this year. New.
Wake up on a Mocha mattress and wake up to feeling good.
Wake up to feeling good.
Well, congratulations to all that made the list at the Africa Brand Congress. And indeed, I'm sure you are preparing yourself for the next edition of that event, and other awards will be coming your way very soon. I'm sure of that, because you'll continue to position your organization in your various segment of the society. We share with you the glory of what you're doing, and also congratulate you indeed on this. When we come back right after this commercial break, we move straight to the agriculture sector to look at what indeed Edken Nigeria Limited is bringing to the market. Stay with Inside Business. We'll be right back. You're still inside Business Africa, Africa's business news and information leader. Thanks for staying with us. Indeed, the Nigerian agricultural sector has continued to record a very important growth indeed. What with the president's resolve to diversify the nation's economy. And indeed, of recent, the yams are being imported to the United States of America for the first time in several years. And the Nigerian economy has continued to feel that particular growth indeed. The agriculture sector also is witnessing some innovation, especially from major players, and people are coming in. Investors from all over the world are looking at Nigeria as a very important market for agricultural business and development. Indeed, Healthcare Nigeria Limited, an organization that has come up with something that is new, is actually talking about what it means to the Nigerian economy. Take a listen. The first Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, in 1948 said that everything else can wait, but not agriculture. Today, India, with all its large population with greater focus on food security and sufficiency, can afford to feed its large population successfully. Mr. Gregory O'Hiri, Managing Director, Chief Executive of Healthcare Nigeria Limited, speaks on the importance of agriculture to the economic development of nations.
Well, in terms of agricultural contribution, what's unique there is the fact that, one, we work with the State Ministry of Environment to, help with the waste, clean up the waste so that it doesn't cause health hazard. And then we take this waste, most of the waste we get are from the market, the big market, vegetable market like K2, Mile.
Agricultural sector, no doubt, will never be the same again with the current administration of President Muhammadu Buhari's resolve to turn the tide in favor of the sector. And the sector, without a doubt, agriculture is virtually on everybody's lip, come rain or shine.
People are diversifying, trying to find other ways to generate revenue, which in turn will increase the GDP. So agriculture is a major player, and being a major player, that's why we are here too, Healthcare Nigeria Limited, to make sure that we produce the best quality compost for the farmers to use and grow their crop.
The Managing Director of Healthcare Nigeria Limited, the makers of all-purpose organic fertilizer, Mr. Gregory O'Hiri, speaks about the activities of the company and the uniqueness of all-purpose organic fertilizer to the agri sector in Nigeria.
We produce organic fertilizer from waste. And the brand name of our fertilizer is Compost Plus. We are located in Ikorodu.
Indeed, we share with the success story, and we love innovation on Inside Business Africa, and we will continue to bring you some kind of innovation that is coming into the Nigerian market, and there are quite a number of it as Nigerian economy continue to struggle with recession, and also we are trying to get out of the recession. And this is the time that we must innovate to be able to compete globally. Congratulations to Healthcare for what it's offering to the Nigerian economy, and we share with you this important milestone. And moving on now, when we come back right after this commercial break, we talk about engineering, infrastructure, and the economy, and many more. Stay with Inside Business. We'll be right back. Well, like I said earlier on, I told you that we're going to be going around in various sectors of the nation's economy. That's why we are Inside Business Africa. And indeed, the education sector has a new name, and that is currently making it possible for students to pass exams, providing innovation in training and educational advancement. Take a listen.
Well, Joint Professionals Training and Support International is an international training organization set up to close the gap in the industrial field, because we understand that the Nigerian university churn out graduates that are not fit for direct employment. So what we do is to come in and provide professional trainings, relevant professional trainings that further build them to be fit to work immediately in the industry. Yeah, I know the fund is required. The technical, we have the technical know-how. We have interacted with institutions all over the world. We've seen what they do. It's not unrealistic. You know, the only issue that we will have as a deficient to us is the funding. You know, which you know is not really realistic here in Nigeria as it is.
Well, now let's talk about the environment. Recently, the world celebrated the World Environment Day, and one organization that has continued to do what is right by the environment and also providing various services, including training, environmental impact assessments, and many other things to the nation's economy, is proud to be talking about the industry with passion. Engineer Bello is in charge at this establishment, and here's what he has to say about the offering of the organization and the nation's environment and indeed the world. The greening of the economy refers to how consumers, businesses and governments are improving environmental performance while fostering economic growth. Using it in the context of cities, it is referred to how states, local council policymakers are greening the economy by incorporating environmental elements into urban development strategies. What then are the Nigerian environmentalists and professionals saying about the concept in relation to Nigeria?
Compare maybe previous years. Let's take I will use two cities as examples. You look at Calabar, let me say 20 years back. Anybody that know Calabar, I know what it is today. You should know that there's a significant difference in improving the aesthetics of the environment. A clean city, well managed, forest, very clean. You also look at Lagos that most people in this country know, at least. You look at Lagos maybe 5-10 years back compared to what we have now. All those Oshori areas, places under the bridge and all these things, what it has turned to.
Developing policy that is both good for the environment and the economy is challenging. The reality is that federal and state legislators are not in a position to develop the bottom-up policy required to address the specific and often differing needs of the businesses, citizens, and consumers in all the various local councils within their jurisdictions. Local council policymakers, on the other hand, have the defined scopes and legislative authorities necessary to create regulation tailored towards the specific needs of the local councils they serve. Local council environmental policy can result in more than just environmental benefits. It can be designed to meet the environmental challenges of urban development while creating jobs, improving living conditions, and fostering economic growth.
Coming up gradually, we could move as maybe a little bit faster than we are. In developed countries, particularly US and America, they segregate waste at source. Those waste that can decompose until they are kept in a separate container, those plastics that do not degrade, they are separated and they are being recycled.
We're still talking about engineering. Engineer Samson Okpalua is the managing director of Samson Okpalua Nigeria Limited, an organization that is actually into engineering consultancy, training, and procurement. He was a member of the Nigerian Civil Service for quite a long time, and before that he was actually in the private sector working with one of the oldest establishments in the world. That's Adcon Nigeria Limited, a firm of architecture, engineers, and all others. But indeed, he's now on his own and is in the market, providing what he was providing as a civil servant to the Nigerian economy from the other side of the world. And we have him today as in our focus segment to ask him one or two questions, especially on how Nigerian can have what we may call homegrown development in terms of infrastructure. Let me use this opportunity to welcome Engineer Samson Okpalua to Inside Business Africa. Thank you again, sir, for joining us on today's edition of the program.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, indeed, I actually gave a brief bio about what you've done over the years, and then which means that a few of our viewers may have gotten in touch. I mean, an information about you. But I'm not going to be talking about you now because it'd be like flogging the thing. But let's talk about the public-private sector and indeed your experience. You see, the fact is that you were in the civil service, and now you are in the private sector. So the private sector used to blame the development of the economy on the public sector. Now you are here, you have to also deal with the civil service now in your daily work. What does it mean? Can you see really there's a competition here, or is complementary, and for us to be able to see that we have a homegrown economy that is driven by the necessary human capital and policies?
Well, thank you very much. It's a question I keep hearing over and over again, and I must say that I've even written articles on this in journals. I'm in a position to compare and contrast the private sector delivery and the public sector delivery, but they are actually not comparable, they are complementary. I discovered that there is speed in the private sector, but again, the speed of they are difficult to fault, and that's what we call delay in public service decision making. But you see, the public service cannot also run without effectively utilizing the services of the private sector. So both of these are complementary, and until we begin to understand the mechanisms of each of them, we may not be able to get them to work together in such a way and manner that will achieve national development. And I think that's a very important thing for us to know as a country and as an economy.
Well, this particular answer you've given actually drives me to the next question. How do we ensure equitable participation of Nigerian professionals and indeed Nigerian investors in the Nigerian economy, especially in the infrastructure sector, where today we see the Chinese and many other nationals coming in here to take the jobs that maybe hitherto must have been done by Nigerian. And indeed, Nigerian professionals are saying they are capable and they have the resources to drive the infrastructure sector in Nigeria. How do we ensure equitable participation of Nigerian professionals and businessmen in the Nigerian economy in the infrastructure sector?
Yeah. You see, the public sector is the instrument with which government operates governance. Now, because government is in control of the public sector, policies that control the private sector are derivable from government. But the private sector cannot on its own affect government unless government creates the enabling environment. So the challenge that my colleagues and we have come into now is that of government deliberately building up a public sector, a private sector that will be complementary and that will play its role. It is the responsibility of government to create the enabling environment by creating policies, for instance, that companies that are coming into our economy must deliberately grow local expertise. That's what we find in our own setting. Individuals and groups of people that have established companies and firms are competing with similar organizations but backed by their own government, when our own government is not backing the local entrepreneurs, and it's an uphill task.
Well, let's, because you're coming from the public sector, I'm going to ask you this question because it's very important. Recently, we've seen what has been going on between the National Assembly, especially the House of Representatives, and the Minister of Power, Works and Housing on the issue of budgeting. Why the minister is saying that if you see 20 billion naira somewhere, it's not omnibus. It's meant to maintain properties. It's meant for maintenance of infrastructures that has been done, or whichever one. But the National Assembly is saying that this doesn't just count, that there was no headings on those things. I think this is the basic thing about the budgeting and also what is budgeted for. And they call it an omnibus budget. So where do we stand here? Do we really need to capture these things properly, or has it been captured? Because you are coming from the public sector, we want to tap into your experience of what you've seen, and then let the general public be able to understand what budgeting is all about and what even procurement in government policy is all about. Could you shed more light on this?
The first is that the construction phase, like the NDDC project, they should let the state governments know that they have spent only 20% by awarding that contract and completing it. The states should be prepared for the 80% over the lifespan, and they should be able to give a life cycle requirement of the project. You know, let's say this building, if the designer says, based on, you know, certain decisions are taken in the construction industry based on assumptions. If, for instance, I'm using PVC pipe, I know that PVC pipe has a lifespan of maybe 15 years. So if where I'm using it is designed to last 100 years, I know that I will have to replace these PVC pipes every. And in order to encourage Nigerians with capacity, funding, that was how advance payment mobilization was introduced. But when you give money to somebody who is not in the industry, he's bound to misuse it. And
well, thank you indeed, Engineer Opalua, for speaking with Inside Business Africa for today. I do appreciate your conversation, and also the fact that you've been able to shed more light on some of the issues relating to facility management, public procurement, and many other issues that has been, you know, going back and forth, especially in this country. So thank you again for joining us on Inside Business Africa.
Well, thank you very much.
You know, when to start with, in the world of business as an entrepreneur, you must understand the technicality involved in running a business. And in it,
matter of fact, I often forget my birthday. But the only misfortune I have is that I share the same birthday with my wife. So in the morning, when I go to the mosque, before I will come back, I will see a card and something like that. Trouble, I started again. That means I have to go and get a gift. That's how I remember often.
Well, I'm afraid that's about all we have time for on Inside Business Africa for today. I want to thank you indeed for joining us on today's edition of the program and being part of it from the beginning to the end. Inside Business for today, we have gone around the whole sector, most importantly, agriculture to engineering to environment and to branding, indeed, awards. It's been Kenneth Odushola Stevenson presenting Inside Business Africa for today. Thank you again for watching. See you next time.